Welcome to another session with me. Today I've got Steve joining me from Daktela.
Hi, Andy.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Great to be here.
Long journey for you today from sunny Reading. Oh, sunny Chester via sunny Reading, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a very pleasant trip over in Reading this morning. All the A roads, brilliant journey. Loved it. Sun was shining.
You know, you've just jinxed your journey home.
I know, that's it now. I'm knackered on the way home now. I'll be home round about midnight. If they're watching Mrs., I'll be home about midnight.
Camera's over there, by the way.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, just to explain to the viewers why we've got you here today for this session. So, we've been looking for a formal contact centre for iPECS Cloud for what feels like forever. I mean, I've been with the business about coming up to 5 years, and certainly during that period, we've had constant conversations about formal contact centre. We've had a look at various vendors, and I think, as you know from the process we went through last year, we kind of got to the point where we said, look, we've got to do this the right way. Yeah. We had a short list, which wasn't actually that short a short list as it turns out, but we had a number of vendors that we'd looked at, and we went through some due diligence, and we eventually got to the point, I think it was towards the tail end of 2022, wasn't it, last year, where we'd gone through the process of all the questions and everything we wanted to look at, and we came upon you guys as the partner of choice for us on contact centre. So just to help the people watching this video, obviously you're Steve from Daktela, they know that now, but you're country manager.
That's right, yeah.
Tell us a bit more about you and a little bit about Daktela, because I think it's fair to say you're relatively new to the UK channel, and a lot of people watching this video probably be sitting there thinking, who the hell are Daktela, who the hell's Steve?
Yeah.
So who are you? What do you do?
It's probably easier to explain who I am first, because I've been knocking around the industry for about 30 years now. I've worked at a range of different well-known contact centre vendors, and I've been involved probably in that time in dozens, if not hundreds, of different projects, from small startups right the way through to massive deployments of large contact centre solutions at places like, I know, RBS, DHL, Thomas Cook. So I've developed quite a lot of knowledge of the contact centre industry. In comparison, Daktela is relatively unknown in the UK. It is a global supplier of communication solutions, so it's well known globally, but actually in the UK it's still relatively new to the market. We came into the market around the tail end of 2018, early 2019. So we've been in the market for the last 3 years or so from a UK point of view. So from Daktela's point of view, our aim is to be one of the leading suppliers in our industry, not just in the UK, but globally in the next 10 years.
Cool, okay. So in terms of the product, obviously we know why we've selected you guys. You know, we had quite a few different points on our list, criteria about what our partners and their customers would be looking for from a contact centre. But from your point of view, from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what stands you guys out from the crowd? I mean, it is a fairly crowded marketplace, right? So why should our customers be interested in the fact that we're working with you? What stands you out in terms of product?
I think it's fair to say that no two contact centres are similar. There are so many differences in approaching the contact centre, and what we've designed in our product is a capability to deliver a range of different options to different contact centre opportunities. Right from the guys who just want, I've got voice only, I just want to have a voice only contact centre, to the people who do the full blown omni-channel contact centre, where they've got voice, email, SMS, WhatsApp, Teams, Instagram. I could go on forever. And I think it's very important that you don't necessarily get locked into a technology that you don't need today. A lot of the people we work with will start off relatively simple with maybe voice, web chat, email, but over time, as they get confidence, they will add more and more parts to the product, and I think it's the beauty of the solution. It's all in that one platform, so literally you can pick and choose what you want depending on the skill set of your people and also what the needs of your customers are.
So a product that can grow with the customer, really.
Definitely that. That's very key.
And that's not necessarily growing size, of course. And obviously, I know you guys do cover quite a wide range in terms of size. When I talk about grow with a customer, it's in terms of grow with how they're changing as a business and how they're engaging with their customers. You know, like you say, today Instagram or Messenger might not be of interest, they might not be using it, but tomorrow, I mean, I know a lot of the companies I buy from online do actually engage quite well with customers via Instagram and via Messenger, and you know, that sort of stuff. Okay, so we've talked about, you know, who you are, what kind of stands you out from the market, but we did touch on briefly there around customer types, but you know, we will inevitably get asked by our customers, you know, what is the target market? You know, we know historically where iPECS Cloud has been successful, but we also recognise that with the kind of inquiries we're getting now, we're seeing the sort of target market in terms of size and complexity, it's forever changing and growing. So from your point of view, where do you start? Where do you go in terms of, you know, what's the customer size? You know, is there any particular verticals that you guys are strong in as well?
I think it's fair to say that the traditional view of a contact centre has changed. You know, this view about 200 people sitting in a room actually taking phone calls.
That's what we were saying earlier on, weren't we, off camera?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a contact centre anymore. A contact centre quite often can be remote agents in different groups all working together, all with a common goal, but they're not necessarily all sitting in the same room. I think from that point of view, our customers that we've sold to can be very small startups who are using technology for the first time. They can be legacy telephone system users who've got a big telephone system and now want to move to the cloud, and particularly with the phase out of some of the ISDN circuits, there's a lot of focus on that. So they're now looking and saying, okay, we want to move to the cloud, let's look at what we can do there. But equally, we're seeing a lot of traction from people who've moved to the cloud previously, but have been disappointed in their choice of vendor and are actually moving away from some of the original vendors to say, okay, it's not the right price, or it hasn't got the right functionality, or more importantly, the service we receive is really poor. And we're seeing a lot of traction from those kind of people now to look around. And once they're moving from a cloud version to another cloud version, it's actually generally more straightforward. So we see a lot of those different kind of opportunities, a lot across different bases. And from a vertical point of view, we don't tend to focus on verticals because a contact center can deploy horizontally across all markets.
Sure. Okay. So I think I mean, again, we were talking off camera, but I think you just touched on the traditional view of the contact center. You know, it's like loads of people sitting in a room, but it's almost more viewing it now from the point of view of customer engagement, isn't it? How do you as a business engage with your customers? You know, you might only have 4 or 5 people who are in an office, whether that's virtually or you're actually physically sitting at a desk. But if you're answering calls and managing calls on behalf of your customers, and you know they're emailing you, you know you might be using WhatsApp, you know you're taking live calls. Why would you not want to employ the Daktela platform to help manage those more seamlessly, you know, and more efficiently, you know? And whether that's 200 people plus or 4 or 5 people, your platform's capable of managing the demands of pretty much any size of business, right?
Yeah, you're totally right. And I think I come from a generation of background where I was brought up on call centres, and call centres morphed into contact centres because all of a sudden it wasn't just the telephone, it was all these other channels you've talked about. But I think it's also true to say that the early contact centres were much more, not so much an omni-channel contact centre, but a multi-channel, where a lot of customers saying, right, okay, we need to go out there and do Facebook, for example. So we'll have Facebook run by the marketing team, we'll have customer service here, we'll deal with the phone calls, and we might have the sales team do with a predictive dialer or something like that. And they're all siloed different units and all siloed parts of the business, all managed separately and not coordinated. And the move to an omni-channel solution is all of those technologies are in the same platform, all managed by the same organisation, by the same people through the same portal. And that actually makes a huge difference to how effectively you can communicate with your customers, because if you want to develop a really effective customer communication strategy, you've really got to have the tools in place to support that. And that's what we believe the Daktela solution is. It is a true tool that enables our customers to develop really good strategies for how they communicate with their customers.
Sure. So, following the story through to its logical conclusion, we know why we've selected you guys. We've talked a bit about the target market. From your point of view, though, as the vendor, what was it that attracted you to Pragma and the Ericsson LG cloud platform?
That's a cracking question, and it's very important that we convey how important partnerships are to us growing the business. I mentioned we came into the UK back in 2018, early 2019. Our first 3 years of operation were to build credibility, to build a market presence through a direct customer base. And we've done that now. We've established that credibility in the marketplace. Having said that, we are never going to achieve our growth aims through direct sales, so it is so important, therefore, that we developed partnership relationships. So we started looking last year, at the same time you did. We were looking for suitable partners. We got introduced to you guys, and from our point of view, from there on, we've not looked back.
The stars aligned.
It literally has. And we've done the integration to the iPECS solution. We love the idea of being associated with Pragma and LG Ericsson. So all of that is fantastic for us. We see, ever since we've been working with you guys, we've had nothing but support, and it's all been very positive. So we think it's fantastic, and our future is through partners. Delivering our revenue through partners. That's where we see the business.
It's good to hear, and I think depending on what timescale this video goes out in, we're obviously, as we're talking now, it's mid-March. Just to sort of let the viewers know, we're kind of at the stage at the moment where we've kind of gone through the initial technical testing integration piece. We're kind of overcome any hurdles that we've encountered so far, and I think latest news is we're kind of all guns blazing, getting out there, doing the marketing bit, doing some good video content like this. But I think the really good thing that we were talking about again off camera this morning is that the foundation, the technical integration piece is there. We've got everything working that we need to get working, and sky's the limit.
Totally agree.
So as we go forward, what's from your point of view in terms of, we've got a great product, clearly, but there's a bit more to a product, isn't there, than just the bells and whistles.
Sure,
but one of the things that we really liked about you guys when we first started talking to you was your position around the support and channel support. But for the benefit of the people watching, a bit more detail around, how do we plan to support the partners, whether it be technical or demos or whatever. What is it that you can help us with in terms of support?
I think our philosophy, our methodology is you cannot deploy a contact center solution without understanding what the customer wants. And one of the things is, even when you've deployed it correctly, supporting that customer is absolutely vital and key, because the contact center is not like a lot of other technologies. It is not something you just stand alone and leave. You have to really manage your customers, work with your customers to make sure they get the best out of their investment. And we've prided ourselves. We pride ourselves on doing that. And that's very much the same philosophy we apply to our partners. We take a long time looking for the right partner, and we did a lot of work on Pragma before we selected Pragma. It's like you selected us. Sure. But one of the key things is, once we've got that partner, we want to put a lot of effort into that partner. We've done a lot of marketing material, we do a lot of videos, we do a lot of support, and the whole idea is that we're going to be there literally alongside you, alongside your partners, basically helping them to deliver to their customers. And not once they're delivered, but also then continue to support them to provide that service going forward. Too many of our competitors do the old, here's an online manual, go read it. Once you've read it,
you're an expert.
You're an expert. And if you're not, give us a call, but it'll be £80 an hour for the call. We don't do any of that.
And I think that's the important thing for us, is that, clearly we're still quite new to what I would call formal contact center anyway. There's some good core functionality in the cloud platform, which is what I think we're such a complement to each other, because if there's kind of really basic informal contact center needs, we've got that covered within the core platform. Then when we take that step up to the more formal approach and more complex, routing and all that kind of stuff, we've got you guys. But I think from what you were saying there, that completely mirrors our view on contact center, which is it's not a sell and forget type solution. And again, we were talking about this morning, the whole approach to selling a contact center can be quite daunting, you know, and it's not just a question of, you know, a customer comes to you and says, I need a contact centre. You know, in an ideal world that would happen, but, you know, actually a lot about what we've been talking about and what we'll be bringing to these guys in the future is help for engaging with customers. You know, a lot of this, as we've said, is about getting to know that customer, because it's not always going to be obvious to the customer or you as a salesperson that there's a contact centre opportunity here. But unless you get to know that customer, get to know what their business is, where their pain points are, etc., you're not going to necessarily know that you're missing out on a contact centre opportunity. And let's face it, we're all here to maximise profit and margin,
Sure.
you know, and revenue as much as we can. But I think what I'm quite keen to talk about as well is we've got like the here and now, right? So why are we working together? Because you've got a great contact centre product. We've touched on the whole omni-channel piece quite a lot. You know, do you just want voice, or do you want to do everything right through to, you know, voice, email, in chat, SMS, all that stuff? But I think one of the points I also wanted to talk about and look at was the future, because I think it's not just contact center, right? So you guys are able to offer plugins from a point of view of workforce optimization. And I think you said earlier on you're working on some AI stuff as well. I think, you know, particularly with the AI stuff and API, I see that as kind of the future. What are you guys working on around that you know, our customers will be able to sort of get hold of and offer alongside the contact center in the future?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I just want to pick up one point you mentioned regarding bolt-ons. We tend to, not like a lot of vendors have bolt-ons, we tend to do everything ourselves. So we like to develop our own products. So we have the core contact center product where we see opportunities. Like, for example, we've recently developed and launched now our own workforce optimization platform, WFM if you want to call it that, which now sits alongside our products. That was a requirement, and it's something we've developed in-house. We also have our own AI capability. So we have AI now, that what we call AI agent, which is one of the big pushes for 2023 and beyond, is this whole idea of a virtual agent, for want of a better word. So we now have that within our product portfolio as well.
So a good example of that then, I think, yesterday I was I was chatting with my insurance company, my car insurance company, but that was clearly a bot, because, you know, we get to the point in a conversation where you get asked the question, do you want to speak to an agent? So that's the kind of thing you're being able to offer at the moment. So. Yeah,
exactly. And it's something that, because the challenges in a lot of contact centres now about finding staff, you know, there are resources limitations in a lot of organisations now. Bots actually start filling some of the gaps left by the fact you can't find the staff, and the actual staff you've got. Let's upskill those people to do the really complex stuff, and let's use the bots for some of the basic stuff, because we actually can't find the staff to do that work anyway. So there's a lot of drive now for this kind of technology to complement the human touch, not to replace it, but to complement it.
Yeah.
We see
bots
that
aren't taking over the world.
No, they're not just yet. We're not quite to that stage yet.
Awesome. So my sort of curveball question, I guess, to you, it's not really a curveball, but sort of the final point I had on my notes is, so we've talked about everything, right? You know, why are we working with each other? You know, what's your product here? What's the future in the product? But here and now, if somebody said to you, okay, Steve, if you were going to see a customer today, what's your elevator pitch then?
I love it when people ask me that. I mean, the market is so different depending who you're selling to, and elevator pitches are very, very difficult to put into a concise phrase. But if I was to put it into a very concise phrase, I would say that we provide a communication solution that allows you to contact your customers more effectively. And we do that providing what we regard as the best technology at the best price with the best support.
So they're your 3 silver bullets, yeah?
Yeah.
Best technology, best price, best support.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Works for me.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so look, thanks for giving up your time to come and chat with me today. I know you've probably got, 4 or 5 hour drive back home?
Yeah. Hopefully only
Chester.
4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
You should have brought the company helicopter with you.
I should have done, should I? Yeah. Well, the company jet was parked up.
Well, listen, look, thanks for joining me. I'm sure our partners need to keep our eyes open. We'll be doing more of this stuff as we go forward. This was more kind of just to help set the scene, let everybody know what was going on. But thanks for joining me. Thanks to our customers for joining us for a short while to watch the video, and we'll speak again soon.
Thanks, Andy.
All right.
Cheers.
Take care. Okay, so listen up, folks. This is the usual YouTube bit, but don't forget to like the video if you found it useful, and subscribe. We're putting more and more content up on YouTube, and we wouldn't want you to miss out.